Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, December 16, 2023, left at 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Most of us know, in fact, all of us in this meditation know that the mind is a limited conglomeration of ideas and beliefs about who we think we are and what reality is. It behaves much like a computer that is unaware of itself and just spits out information that was programmed into it. Now, the mind is like a machine, so it is not conscious. Believe it or not, it is a horrible, horrible, horrible master and a wonderful servant. So when looking at that, we say to ourselves, well, then I want to train the mind so that, we all want to train the mind so that we can use it instead of being used by it. Because the majority of people on this planet are being used by the mind. It cannot remain in the present moment. You see, it just can't. It cannot remain in the present moment. That's why we leave it in meditation. We practice on being in the now, and that's the only way. So we're leaving it alone, okay, by doing that. And it cannot exist in the now. This is why the now is so sacred to all of us, and to continually practice staying and being in the now. To the mind, that way you watch the mind and you're able to master the mind. It must keep moving with ideas that engage the past and future to remain in control of you. When we do quiet the mind, we regain control of it. The only way to quiet the mind is to leave it alone. The more we can practice paying attention to the stillness and silence that is behind this chattering mind, the less power the mind has over us. We all have that noise. If you want to call it noise, okay? It's mind chatter. We all have it. This is why a lot of people will say, I just would like to get away and not have any of this stuff. You know what I mean? The electronics and the cell phones and the Wi-Fi and all this stuff. And you ever notice that somebody can always get you somehow? You're not on your own island. So this is why. Because, we interpret it different ways, but it's the mind chatter. And a lot of the times we just don't pay attention to the stillness and silence that is behind this chattering mind. The less power the mind has over us, and the less we get trapped in our limited ego or identity. So it goes hand in hand. We look at the mind, and we focus on the stillness and silence that is behind the mind. So the less power the mind has over us by doing that, and the less we'll get trapped in our limited ego or identity. You see how we leave it alone? It's there, but we leave it alone. We watch it, and we learn from it. We learn how it operates by watching and not judging. Now, ego has a lot of definitions. Okay? The definition I like most about ego, E period, G period, O period, it's really just an acronym for excluding God's omnipresence. Excluding God's omnipresence. Okay? Through the constant awareness of our ego, we can bypass the mind and access this omnipresent divine spiritual energy that's inside all of us. We can discover our natural enlightened state, all of us, by doing this. We become aligned with the bigger truth that we already are infinite spiritual beings. We're not going to be, okay? We are. Infinitely so. We have been given the gift of a limited physical human expression with illusionary challenges that make us grow and advance. When the mind is quiet, we can enjoy this divine play and find real peace with this entire dynamic. We find full acceptance that we are both the ego and the spirit, and know all is perfect as it is. So there's no tug of war. There's no wincing and pulling and scraping and peeling and none of that. And this is a very simple understanding. And now you understand how when we go into the now, we focus on our breath, we're still as a statue, this leaves the mind alone and it leaves the ego alone. Then you watch. So when you have thoughts come in, you're going to know. You're going to know automatically that, oh, okay, that's an ego mind thought, I'm not interested in it. Right? You've been on both sides of the fence. All right, this side of the fence is your discovery of who and what you are in that body. You've been on the other side of the fence for many lifetimes. You have. We all have. And then people would say, well, yeah, but our memories aren't there, so we can't reference them. But we have, period. Okay? And that, that amnesia, I can guarantee you, is going to fade out. All right? There's a lot of things that have been implemented to keep us in this fog, okay, which are now being lifted. But not so much so that people are shocked, all right? It's got to be soft and easily introduced. Now, through the mind, what do we do? What do we do in the mind? Well, we pick up things. Attachments and aversion, right? In some way, shape, or form, to everyone and everything. And as in these bodies, these human bodies, we do have a tendency to get attached to or avoid certain thoughts and feelings we believe will make us happy or unhappy. So we get into habits of resisting this life. You'd be surprised how many of us resist this life. And we try to control our experiences so that we get what we think will only bring us joy and avoid what makes us happy. See? So we get what we think will only bring us joy and avoid what makes us happy. We even create these patterns based on what others say, feel, and believe, and ignore our own inner voice and connection. So this attachment and avoidance habit for us manifests because deep down we feel what? disconnected from our spiritual source. We feel we're separate. We're separate. So what did collective consciousness do? It created things outside of us that are illusions. We are still trying to find some form of security by controlling our reality. When we were young, we saw others avoiding what is painful and remaining attached to what is plausible, pleasurable, and believed this is how it should be done. Now, we are enlightened beings, understand that. All of us are. We're all perfectly enlightened beings. For some reason, when we get in these bodies, we don't know that. So when does that enlightened state show up? It shows up when we listen to our heart. And we stop being attached to or avoiding anything. Right? That's when our enlightened state shows up. We listen to our heart and stop being attached to or avoiding anything. When we understand that this life is it's like a pendulum designed to swing and give us both experiences of pain and pleasure. Now, we could transcend them both by accepting this natural pendulum swing. We become free from being the one who always needs to be in control and running the show. Maybe it's you, maybe you know other people through your life that you've experienced this with. Maybe it was your parents, who knows? By accepting the natural pendulum swing, we become free from being the one who always needs to be in control and running the show. That's a definite ego-mind thing. Pain and suffering are just the universe's way of telling us to do one thing: let go and trust the flow. How many people let go and trust the flow? They might say it on the surface, but deep down, They just have this affinity for not letting go. They're fearful. And I can't let go of that. The purpose of feeling pain is not to create more suffering. Yet for us to wake up and create an immediate new life change. Now, this change is necessary for us to evolve and eventually drop all identity with your ego trip. Right? This change is necessary for you to evolve and eventually drop all identity with your ego trip so that we can return to our spiritual source. That's what's blocking us. It's the ego trip. And yes, some of us are light on that. We're not, you can come across others that are heavy duty with that, okay, the ego mind trip. And the more you, and this isn't a judgment, it's a watching and an understanding. Because remember, everybody is a teacher. Everybody is a student. So we return to our spiritual source. By allowing ourselves to let go of our mind's attachments and aversion, we can genuinely enjoy our life again. We then start energetically communicating to this universe that we are abundant, thankful, happy, beautiful, and free. This experience allows us to expand in consciousness deepen our connection to our infinite source inside. We then begin to move to being free from the illusion that we are separate from the infinite source of love, energy, and connection. Because most of us are in that, okay? We're not free from the illusion that we're separate from the infinite source of love, energy, and connection. We're not free from that. Many are heavily embedded in that belief, feeling separate and disconnected from our universe, this universe. What do you think that is? Feeling separate and disconnected from our universe is the unenlightened state. This isn't a bad thing. You know, it's funny because people will go, "Ooh, you're unenlightened. Ooh, this is, ooh, that's bad." No, it isn't. Okay? The majority of us are unenlightened, even though we're enlightened beings. I know it's a contradiction, but it's pretty much true. Now, okay, so you discover in your own way through going within, right, and meditating, you discover that you really don't care to feel separate and disconnected from this universe. You don't care to be in this unenlightened state any longer. So you say, well, then you're going to become enlightened. Now understand, you're already enlightened, the God that you are. So when we are continuously aware how deeply and intimately connected we already are, that's our discovery for all of us. To discover that we already are deeply and intimately connected. The illusion of separation, some people think it's an accident or, just happens. It is not an accident or coincidence. This universe is extremely intelligent. Every feeling of separation is needed so that coming spiritually home is that much more amazing. In other words, we really appreciate it. We are deeply grateful for it when we do come home. The polarization of separation, unification, breeds a truly juicy, alive, and incredible experience of this life. When we become enlightened, we will see the full illusion and know how to stop manifesting another experience of loss, failure, or separation again. The illusion that we are not connected to the divine is karmic. It stems from lifetime of our mind's attachment and avoidance of limiting ideas of who and what we think we are. Limiting idea of who and what we think we are. The other part of that is total avoidance. Now, once we untangle ourselves from our fun, sticky karmic mess, we will remember that we were always one energy, one sea of consciousness, and always connected with our source. All experiences of suffering simply drop away when we pay closer attention to who we truly are. It's amazing. It's like, that childlike curiosity. Then you start discovering things like all suffering comes from a lack of awareness of our divinity. And once we stop forgetting our eternal abundant nature, we begin stepping forward into a life which is overflowing with synchronicity, ease, grace, love, and knowing our divine, unlimited nature. Waking up is as simple and easy as remembering that the sun is always on. You're always on. Always bright. You're always bright. Always shining somewhere. You are always shining somewhere. The God within you is always shining somewhere. You're divine perfection. You're the only thing that doesn't change. You're the only thing that's real. All of us create this that we see and experience in physical form. We create it all, collectively. That's why at times you hear people say, we are co-creators. Because all of us are creating. When it comes down to it, we already have everything we need inside us to experience all the love, joy, and happiness we could ever desire. All efforting to get anywhere better than here is simply divine misguidance. It's really key. All efforting to get anywhere better than here is simply divine misguidance. And how many of us are doing that right in this very now? How many of us are not in the now we're in, yesterday or tomorrow? How many of us are heavily steeped in the ego mind as our master? It's not negative. It's a discovery. This universe is already amazing. We are already amazing. And this moment that all of us are in this very moment, is totally amazing. And by sitting in awe of this amazingness that is already here now, we wake up to the spiritual immensity of our being. We suddenly stop playing small, end all of our suffering, and continuously step into the vastness of our totality. The pathway for all of us into enlightenment is a perpetual journey into the now. Okay? Your path, my path, all of our paths. We're all on the same path, believe it or not. Into enlightenment is a perpetual journey into the now. So why do you think we go into the now when we meditate? Why do you believe? This is a wonderful yet treacherous journey for us. It involves getting to know ourselves very, very, very intimately, gently, and spiritually. Now, when we break free from the hard, cold, calculating mind, because we will, all of us will eventually, we realize who we truly are is love itself. Who we truly are is love itself. We're not talking about romantic love. We're talking about a love that is far-reaching, ever-glowing, and shining throughout existence and beyond. This is the love that eventually every one of us will understand that we are. When we then find out our life's spiritual mission and sole purpose is to radiate this love everywhere we are. When we know our real nature is the divine itself, we become desireless, selfless, and effortlessly remember how deeply, intimately, and infinitely connected we already are to the spiritual source inside it all. Nothing is lacking in you, in any of us. We cannot be improved upon. Period. People who try to improve you are destroying you. And they are the real mischief makers. There are so many improvers in this world. That's why the world is in such a chaos. There are too many people trying to improve you. Do not allow anybody to improve you. You are already the last word. You're not only the Alpha, you are the Omega also. You are whole, complete, and perfect. Even if you feel imperfect, that imperfection is perfect. Do not worry about it. It will look strange to others if you say that your imperfection is also perfect and nothing is lacking in you, yet the fact is that you appear imperfect not because you are imperfect, but because you are a growing perfection. We believe, a lot of people will believe that we think that perfection cannot evolve. Okay? Because what we mean by perfection is that which has come to its last growth, at least on this planet. This definition of perfection is dead. God is perfect because God lacks nothing. You are perfect because you lack nothing. God goes on growing from one perfection to another. The growth continues. God is evolution, not moving from imperfection to perfection, but from perfection to more perfection to still more perfection. Okay. You, the God. This is you that I am describing. You, the God within that body. There's no debate upon it whatsoever. You can debate with your ego mind for an eternity. Now, we all look, this time of the year, right? Everybody's, they approach resolutions and what they're going to change, what, they're going to do different. So most of us reflect upon our life. And then, maybe, in this lifetime, we discover that who we are is not about judging ourselves or labeling ourselves in any way. It's more about taking a massive inventory on what makes us happy. What gives us happiness? And what doesn't satisfy us any longer? Inner reflection, deep spiritual consideration helps us to realize more clearly that it is what it is that you want and don't want to manifest and attract in your life. It helps us to know ourselves better. respect ourselves more, which makes our path easier to walk upon each day. Finding a crystal clear distinction between what we want and what we don't want is vital for our heart's contentment and ability to relax fully into our body. And so that we can deeply enjoy this amazing human ride. As we're reflecting on our lives at this time of year, and what we've done so far this year, remembering one thing, that what we did, every action we took, has everything and nothing to do with who we are. On one hand, the attitude we had each day towards ourself in life greatly affected every single movement and intention that we acted upon every day. Everything we did and manifested, let's say everything we did and manifested in this world came from the state of mind we were currently abiding in. Now, on another level, a deeper level, the pure spiritual essence, who we all truly are, is unfazed and untainted by anything we did last year or could ever do in this material world. Our soul is always innocent, always bright, beautiful, perfect at the very core. Nothing we could ever do or was done to ever changes the fact that we are a spiritual being, intimately connected to God for eternity. Because we are God, connected to each other as gods. This is the deepest spiritual truth of our being and should always be respected when exploring any deep consideration about who and what we are. So here's we'll put this up on the website. I've read it before, but usually I do it about this time of year. So you put your name at the top, right? Dear Mary Johnson, whatever your name is, okay? And you say, we're talking about this coming year, 2024. This year is going to be the best year of my entire life. I am going to take care of my body, mind, soul, with more love, care, conscious consideration than I ever have. I am going to eat only those foods that bring my body into the highest vibration and consciousness possible. I am going to exercise regularly, build up even more energy, health, vitality every day. I am going to open my heart with everyone, becoming more honest, vulnerable, and loving each new day. I am going to let go of every bad habit that doesn't support me in creating my highest health and consciousness, replacing it with a new habit that makes me feel more grounded, real, dependable, open, and available to love. I am 100% committed to myself, enjoying myself fully, and manifesting the most amazing life that I can imagine. I choose this or something better to manifest into my future right now. And so it is. And so it shall be. Have an amazing year. This is, as you can tell, and you feel the vibrational frequency of these words in this meditation in the quiet time, focus on the God that you are. Surrender this life completely. And remember that you are forever. The God that all of us are is forever. This is what we do. And then, some of us will say, well, it'd be nice to have all my memories back, and then I can reference this and that. Would that be really fun or not? You kind of say, yeah, things are challenging, and, you've got this and that going on, but it teaches us, doesn't it? We learn. I don't care if you're 150 years old, you're still learning. 1,000 years old, 10,000 years old, you're still learning. It's what we do. We experience. All of us, gods, have the best of everything. When we enter these physical forms, we lose the memory of that. We lose the memory of that. So what do? We rediscover it. We put it back front and center. And so the question is always posed throughout the ages in different ways, but the same meaning. Then why do most of the people on this planet spend their entire life after life after life fighting life? It's because the cycle has not been broken on the programming of humanity. That's the reason why. This is why we go in a merry-go-round of life, fighting life, not surrendering to it, not embracing it, not being in deep gratitude for it, but fighting it every inch of the way. This is because we are slaves to the ego mind. And the only reason that is because we don't know any better. And then some of us will say, I'm going to discover the God that I am within me. The universe will open up a whole new avenue for you to walk through and with so that you can do that. It's truly amazing. It's truly phenomenal, the lives that we have been gifted on this planet. We're moving up and out. We are the awesome vibration of love, the gods that we are. It is our essence. Love is our true essence. Now, when you look at everything in the material physical world, you watch it. You don't judge it. You're on the outside looking upon it. You watch it. Okay? You, the God that you are, all of us, love has no limitations of caste, religion, race, or nationality. And as Amachi said, we are all beads strung together on the same thread of love. To awaken this unity and to spread to others the love that is in our inherent nature is the true goal of human life. Isn't it? you go into your feelings in this quiet time. Isn't that the true goal of human life? It's our inherent nature. This is a unity amongst us gods. So what do? We rediscover who and what we are. We're unified, because we're all one anyway, and we rediscover that. And we spread to others the love that is in our inherent nature. How do you believe this planet will be? Well, you're talking about New Earth. You're talking about New Earth. I'll join you in a meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. An easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. When your heart is filled with gratitude, then you are truly rich. Take this moment to feel deeply grateful for everything in your life in this very moment. Share your appreciation with someone you love today. It feels so good to have a heart that is truly alive. You can easily radiate infinite abundance everywhere you go. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Sunday, December 17, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Being the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you.